Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blackout Tips podcast. I'm your host, Rod, joined as always by my co-host,
Karen.
And we're live on a Monday night, ready to do a little bit of podcasting. Find us everywhere you find podcasts. The official weapon of the show is
folding chair.
And the unofficial sport,
bullet ball.
And bullet ball, extreme. Still got like 6 of these poster holders left. I did mail out 6 more today. So you guys will, the newest people should be getting theirs in the mail. Appreciate y'all or whatnot. Once again, email me $15. I think I got it down to a system now. So
it was much smoother at the post office this time,
but minimum $15 to mail it. And, I got Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, PayPal, whatever y'all need. That's it for the up front. Leave us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. We appreciate that and we need those. Karen, do you have any banter?
I do.
Okay, all right. Well, let's get to the banter. Boom. Oh, the volume isn't up. Talk to me. Start that over, my bad. Do you have any banter? Talk to me. Do you have any banter? Talk to me. Do you have any banter? Do you have any banter?
I do.
Talk to me. Banter. Talk to me. Do you have any banter?
I do.
Banter. All right, Karen.
And I know I may have said this one before, but I don't know why it always bothers me every time it goes up. And I will continue to say this. I hate self-evaluations. I hate them bullshits. And I think the biggest reason why, I've been in corporate America for years. The biggest reason why, maybe it's just me, and depending on where you work at, it don't fucking matter. Why are y'all asking me to self-evaluate? Because you're going to give me a goddamn meets expectation anyway, regardless of what I do, unless I'm getting a supervisor or a raise. So why are you making me pointlessly fill out some paperwork that's not going to matter?
Now, what do you mean they're going to give you meets expectations no matter what? What does that mean?
Because the thing is you do a self-evaluations at a lot of jobs, and then they turn around, and then what you have, you and your supervisor talk about what you have. And so a lot of times, unless you are going to get like a promotion to go up, you're going to get a meets expectations.
What are the options? I don't know.
Oh, meets expectations, exceeds expectations, and meets expectations, or below expectations.
Okay.
These are normally the 3 options. They ask you like a series of questions normally.
And so you pick meets expectations all the time for yourself?
Yes. Because it's not gonna matter, because you're gonna give me that when it's time for when you go through the thing.
What happened if you pick surpass expectations? Do they come in at the meeting and go, no, you didn't?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've done that before, or you just think that?
And I've the things put like this. If I pick exceeds expectations on something, it's normally something like they've asked me to explain, and I will go into details and explain like that. I have picked for certain things, but normally across the board, it's just meets expectation. But that exceeds don't matter, because everything like when it's time for pay raise, everything's going to be meet expectations.
So, and is this every company or just your company?
It was like that at my last job.
So when it's time for, like, when you have your meeting and you put something that said, and you put exceeds expectations, when your manager meets with you, what do they say about the ones where you pick exceeds expectations?
Well, at the job, where I'm at now, they normally are like, yeah, we understand, because if you do exceeds expectations, you have to do a lot of explanations. Like, you have to be like, I do this, I've done this, I exceed this, which is understandable. But and maybe because I've been just beat down and defeated by corporate America, that I'm like, it don't matter.
Well, you've been at this new job for like 5 years or so at this point. So so to still feel this way, even with a job that treats you, pretty well. It's making me just think about stuff, because like, for it not to matter even at a job that's better. Like, I understood your old job was kind of like, But for this job, if they still treat it like it don't matter, that's wild to me.
And I think because a lot of times, like, you can go through the whole thing and pick exceed expectations.
Yeah.
But unless you are like going up the ladder, they're going to be like, yeah, you might have exceeded, but we're not going to give you an exceed pay raise.
So the exceed is tied to the raise.
Yes.
Okay. So, but you've gotten raises before, right?
Yes, I have.
So what do they say when you get a raise? Are they just like, you just getting a raise? It's not having nothing to do with you doing a good job?
No. What I'm saying, what they have you do a self-evaluation, and because they do like this annual thing across the board at a lot of companies where they like, we just want to see where you are, what's going on. So they kind of,
I mean, I know what a self-evaluation is.
Right.
And I get why. I'm just saying you've gotten raises before.
yes.
So this is not tied to this evaluation at all. We're just giving everyone a raise or something like that, or
Yeah, a lot of times it is.
Okay.
A lot of times when they do, because we get raises throughout the year, sometimes periodically. But for this, it's just like for the end of the year one that they do. A lot of times, regardless of if you're at the top or a lot of times at the bottom, most of y'all get the same pay raise. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
I understand
it
that
doesn't
part,
flex according
also,
to that. So I'm like, well, then what's the point?
and I guess also, do they ever put exceeds expectations, but you didn't put it? Like, have you ever been to meet where they're like, actually, you exceeded this expectation, even though you didn't say you exceeded it, but you did.
That's a good question. I don't really know. No,
Okay.
For the ones,
Well, it must not have rang any bells if it didn't happen.
for the ones that I do put exceed, they're normally like, yes, because
Right.
they like, we see that.
I mean,
you
I feel
are
like that would
exceeding.
be the ultimate. Like, if you put exceed and they come in and go, no, you didn't. That would suck.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure for some people they may.
Well,
have
you're
had
pretty
to.
honest and fair about your work ethic and your stuff. I mean, you work very hard, so I assume you probably evaluate yourself greatly, like very accurately. What I'm thinking is that one is just more automation, something that they can look at before you come in. It also probably tells them trouble areas. So if you were to put like, I'm below expectations in this or whatever, there are probably people that put stuff like that, and then they want to talk to you about it. And it's good that you recognize that you're below expectations,
I can see
rather
that,
than
yes.
them having to broach it themselves and be like, hey, timeliness, you're actually below expectations and you put exceeded. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Whereas if you put it yourself, it's like, okay, you need to work on this, and it's not as awkward for me to bring up in this meeting.
Right,
Because we're dealing with human beings, and a lot of times the
Yes.
managers are, just because they have manager in their name doesn't make them any more comfortable with conflict or evaluations and stuff. So it's probably almost like an icebreaker for them
Yeah,
on
and-
their side to be like, this is how you feel like you're doing. The only other thing I would wonder is if they have anything in there where you evaluate the job, like where you're saying they haven't met expectations as opposed to just yourself. Because self-evaluation I understand, but they should also have something where you evaluate the company.
They do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
They'll send out and they do it periodically throughout the year. They send out like these surveys, and I give them credit. They actually take that shit seriously because over the years they have implemented a lot of shit based off of that. Once they do that survey, about a month or two later, they'll come out with a big old news article like to everybody and be like, we found out, based off of the surveys, these are the things you like, these are the things that you don't like, these are the things that we need to improve on. And then they'll get with like a collection of people like within the company, because they ask people to volunteer all the time, and they'll get with like people that work and all across, and they'll be like, well, what can we do? And like if people have complaining about maternity leave, or if they're complaining about certain things, PTO time and things like that, sick leave, like, I know it sounds wild, but they'll slowly, next thing you know, within a year or so, you'll start seeing little things implemented. So I do give them credit for that part.
Well,
They actually
here's what
listen.
I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking, and I don't mean to undercut your point. I mean, if you don't like doing them, you don't like doing them, and I think most people probably identify and agree with not wanting to do this tedious stuff, right? But what you and maybe the people in the chat room that also think it's tedious have not considered, it doesn't seem like to me, is maybe it's boring because y'all do a good job.
I can see that.
Because I got a feeling if you...
I can see that.
I got a
Yeah.
feeling if you fucking up, you hate self-evaluations for a completely different reason.
That's true.
And it's not like they're just gonna give you meet expectations for everything. Your ass is not gonna get meet expectations because you fucking up. So
Agreed,
you
right.
wish you could put meet expectation for everything. But if you a fuck up, they gonna be like, no, you not. Why you put that? So, maybe you a boring ass employee. So every year your shit is boring because it's like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Child, I am super ass boring. I'm like, is she there? I mean, I do talking things, but I like to be in the mix, and I guess for me, and this is me personally, this is why
it's like, how are you doing? I'm doing what's expected of me.
That's how I feel.
Right.
Yes.
So right, but you really do what's expected of you. So of course to you it's boring.
That's
so
true.
That's my guess. I mean, you don't really want an exciting self-evaluation because that means shit is probably not good.
No, but I just it could be it's not good because it's like you're doing real bad or
you're doing real good and you're underpaid.
Yeah, and we're about to probably give you more responsibilities.
Yeah, and you very famously do not want them to give you like much more responsibility. You don't want a promotion. You don't want to go up the ladder. So I think your self-evaluations are probably boring because they're exactly where you want to be.
Yes.
And it's going to be the same every year as long as they keep paying you.
Yes, and I know it sounds crazy because the thing is I have the capability and I can do it, but I'm like, oh, this means more work. Oh, this means more emails. Oh, this means more meetings. Oh, I'm like, I like my time.
But I'm saying your hate of self-evaluations is tied to your not wanting to do more.
True.
You just like you're stuck in this. You're gonna have to keep doing this because you're doing a good job, and you don't want to do anything extra. So this is where it's gonna be.
That's true. And I never really thought about that, but I'm like, because when they do it, I'm like, I'm doing my job. In my mind, every year, I'm like, I'm doing my job.
Nothing special. You don't get to opt out. They send it to everybody.
They do,
and it's the only way they can do it as a company because they can't just send it to people that's just fucking up or people that's just doing great.
That's true.
So they have to send it to everybody so that it looks fair. And more than likely, they know yours is going to be boring, and they know that that's how you prefer it, and you don't want to go up, so you're just gonna keep doing boring ones.
Yes, and we're gonna have to be just good and boring. I'm okay with that, and I think this is one reason why I think I really enjoy larger companies, like bigger companies, because just that interpersonal, the small, everybody know you. Nope, baby, Call me employee 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We go on about our lives. I like to blend in with the mix.
I went back to the post office today to mail off some more people's posters. And this time I bought shorter poster holders. I bought labels that got the address on them, and for the other people's address, so it's just one label.
We simplified it.
And everything was ready to go. And I brought it up there today, and the woman who waited on us last time, one of them was there, the short one that was kind of got into it with the white lady that called her the B word. She was there, and so she wasn't there when I first got in line, but she actually waited on me. So I was next, and I came up, and I guess she recognized and remembered me, and she was like, "Oh, you got the labels?" And I was like, "Yep." And the shorter poster board, and it saved me, no joke. It cost $5 less each thing to mail.
Oh, it was the length it was causing.
Told you it was 25 inches, and that was apparently they had to charge you a certain fee. So now it's about $5 to mail people stuff. So once you add the poster board and all that stuff, it's $15 was meeting it for now.
Right.
And so it was and she was very nice, and she made like I said, she recognized me from the thing, and very cordial. And now I feel like we friends. I have no idea if they listen to the podcast.
I don't even think they know the name because the way we were talking,
they didn't
never
really
came
seem to
back
get to
up.
it. Once we got to that ashy ass dude talking about black women,
the conversation changed, and we never got back to us. I'm fine with that.
But because at first I was gonna go to a different post office. But I was like, nah, I want to see them again and finish the story. And I mean, I wasn't the problem. It was them and that white lady was fighting. I was fine.
Not the problem.
I didn't do nothing wrong. And plus, this time it was 11, so she was very friendly, and she still was herself. There was a dude that she she still gets short to the point with people, because I think when you deal with the public and people be fucking up, you develop a callus to it to be like, all right, look, I already seen this problem 15 times. I could either wait for you to figure it out and walk you through it. I could just tell you what the answer is. And she just tells you what the answer is. But, yep, went back to the post office, and everything was good.
Yeah, I'm glad it was. So, I remember because you talked about, you was like, you know what, I'm going to get some shorter ones. And I think that actually solved the issue.
Mm-hmm. Well, one of them, you know, that not coming at 4:45.
True.
Anything else for banter before we move into the show?
Uh-uh.
All right, cool. Let's get into I did have one more thing for banter. The NBA should force all media members that cover the NBA to participate in a media summer league that's broadcast on NBA TV. It could be half court, it don't gotta be full. But it needs to happen. I think it will actually solve a ton of the issues for the negative coverage of the league. Because these niggas need to be humbled. They need us to have some tape of them so that when they say shit, we can at least evaluate going off of them.
Right.
You know, so when they like just make it seem so easy, like so-and-so out of shape, or so-and-so need to shoot better, or so-and-so need to pass the ball or whatever, we can be like, nigga, you can't pass the ball. Because it's not because I want them to be good. I want to show you need to see how bad they are. I saw a clip of Stephen A. Smith like trying to shoot a jumper, and he like fucked his ankle up. And I'm like, couldn't even shoot a jumper without fucking up your ankle.
Because I don't think he had the proper shoes when he was out there.
Now maybe this will give you some pause when you get ready to like go run a clip of Bronny James, a rookie in the NBA, having one bad game on a Saturday against San Antonio. Maybe that'll get you to be like, maybe I don't run that clip. You know, maybe these old guys are like, I used to be the greatest. Maybe it gives the players some ammunition too to be like, Chuck, you talking about you used to be the greatest, man. I saw you out there tripping over Shaq, you know, the other day or whatever. You know, it would be nice.
It'd actually be hilarious, and maybe they, you know, wouldn't be so serious about it.
Yeah. Everybody got to relax. Take a chill pill. I'm not saying to do it to embarrass them so we can pick on them as much as I'm saying to even the playing field. Because there's something about humility that just comes from like you talking shit and then people being like, but what about your shit? And you like, oh, that's fair. You know what? Maybe I could chill out. Maybe I could be a little nicer. Somebody else said they want them to keep track of all the takes on TV and who was right and who was wrong. But that just seemed like more work to me.
Yep.
And also like, that's not their fault. That's our fault. The fans.
Because we watch
Y'all
it.
got to stop hanging on to, I watch this to see who's correct. That's how the debate shows win. I don't watch the debate shows to really see who's right about shit. I really just be watching for the entertainment of it.
Yes.
And of course they're wrong. They're doing hot takes every day. They're going to be wrong. They're taking chances. I've seen shows where motherfuckers have one opinion in the morning and by the afternoon they done pick the other team. It's like, you don't get too caught up in that part. That's our fault for acting like that's a big deal. None of us have 100% good takes. You know, so I you know, it's funny. It is funny when someone calls them out on it or whatever, when they have like, oh, I got that wrong. But it should never be so serious. It gets too serious to me. All right, let's get into some I guess politics till we get mad. All right, politics until we get mad. Let's see what the hell's going on out here. America's most influential billionaires turned on Trump, said the economy is weakening as we speak. Billionaires Jamie Dimon and Larry Fink have both begun to express concerns over the impact of Donald Trump's policies in the U.S. economy. J.P. Morgan Chase CEO Dimon, who has had a bumpy relationship with the president, warned this week that the uncertainty around tariffs is not a good thing for business, which is a market turn from 2 months ago when they asked him about people protesting his tariff proposals, and he told them people to get over it.
Right. He didn't care. Right.
Well, he care now.
Right. But, yeah, you just didn't care until the stock market tanked, basically.
Yeah.
And people around, I guarantee you, you were not oblivious to this. There was somebody around you going, he fucking up our money, dog, and you went, whatever.
Well, yeah, people were protesting. He told them to get over it.
All right.
Well, you doesn't get more fucked up. You doesn't get more go fuck yourself than that.
Right. And now they like, well, then you get over it, dog. When you lose billions.
Fellow billionaire Fink, who is the CEO of investment management company BlackRock, also said on Wednesday the volatility around the policy changes is already hurting the economy.
No shit. This is what economists were saying for months.
Trump is on Thursday also threatened a giant 200% duty on champagne and wine from the European Union. Uncertainty around these proposals has spooked the stock market. The S&P 500 has fallen 10% since its peak on February 19th, which investors term a correction. The plunge is the seventh fastest correction since records began on Wall Street since 1929 after the Wall Street crash.
Goddamn.
Yep. So maybe the billionaires will do something, but one billionaire is picking out all his policies. So, maybe it's just their billionaires versus my billionaires.
And that's what it boils down to. They all gonna lose money.
U.S. expels South African ambassador over race baiting remarks. Marco Rubio declared South Africa's ambassador Ibrahim Rasool as persona non grata last week. It came after remarks Rasool made about U.S. racial demographics in the Trump administration. Rubio announced the decision on social media while returning from a G7 foreign ministers meeting in Canada. He accused him of being a race-baiting politician with an anti-Trump stance. Shortly after, State Department officials summoned South African embassy staff and formally informed them that Rasool was no longer welcome. His diplomatic privileges and immunity expired on Monday, and he must leave. On Monday, he must leave the U.S. by Friday. The expulsion of an ambassador is a rare and serious diplomatic move that could strain relations between the United States and South Africa. Now, the reason they're okay to beef with South Africa right now is because South Africa has been taken over and run by black people for a long time at this point.
Right.
They're actually passing laws to get basically the land back from the colonizers. And Elon Musk, white South African, has influenced our policy in that way. So, like, we will accept white South Africans or Afrikaners, as they're called. We will accept them, but at the same time, we're trying to demolish and destroy our international ties with South Africa and their government right now. So that's why they're getting rid of somebody who would call out Trump on his racism.
Right, and they act like other countries can't retaliate too. Like, y'all do know we got ambassadors, we don't even know their names, all around the world. And some of these other countries, y'all start falling out with them, they're going to start kicking them out and sending them back to America too. You're going to turn around and you're going to try to come, even Trump, to these states, they're going to be like, you're not allowed here. They're going to flat be like, we don't allow you here.
Yeah. It doesn't even seem like, they don't even say what he said that was so whatever, but my guess is that it probably wasn't something so bad.
It probably was not. It probably wasn't. It was probably just like, y'all don't have no diversity. They was like, bitch, what you mean we ain't got no diversity? Well, it's obvious you don't, but they don't want to hear any criticism.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't even see what it said. He during a webinar hosted by South African Institute, he accused Mr. Trump of pursuing policies and practices that the diplomat characterized as white supremacist response to growing demographic diversity in the United States. So it was something that I knew would be true and not a big deal. But they don't like you calling them out on what they do.
They just won't do shit and want you to just flat ignore it.
Trump voids Biden's pardons, saying they were signed with an auto pen, which is ironic in many different ways, mostly because he used the auto pen to sign all of the January 6th what do you call those what do you call it when you give somebody
immunity? Yeah,
like when he signed those deals to convert their commutations or whatever. That's what he used, the auto signature for 170 something people, whatever.
Yeah, he's not gonna sign all those.
Right, but he's saying Joe Biden's pardons are not legal. And he voided them, and he said this on Truth Social. This is the chaos of a Trump administration that people warned everybody about, but folks thought wouldn't be that bad or whatever.
Right.
Now I know a lot of people just don't care because they're like, actually, fuck Joe Biden and fuck them people. But it's this is the kind of shit that we're talking about, and this is also why I didn't take it serious when people said, I lost respect for Joe Biden when he pardoned his son. And I told you then, and I'll say it again: suck my dick. You're a fucking idiot, and you're part of the problem.
Yes.
And I don't understand why you would like his hands tied while we watch him get beat down by Donald Trump, and then be like, these Democrats won't fight back. Like, no, you're not sending my son to prison. I'm not letting you send Liz Cheney to prison. And the fact that they're about to disregard these pardons is even more of a point, because if he would have done this and there were no pardons in place preemptively to give any legal precedent or anything to it, y'all would have said Joe Biden's a fucking idiot. I can't believe he didn't write pardons preemptively for the people that he knew Trump would target. You would absolutely be saying that. But now it's crickets. And it's only because he did do those pardons. And that's why you need them. But yeah, he lied. He wrote a long thing saying Joe Biden probably wasn't even aware of him. He didn't sign them and all this shit. And it's so he can go after his enemies list, because that's the list that Joe Biden had, was Liz Cheney and his son himself. I don't know if he pardoned himself, but Fauci, yeah. So those are the people on his list, and Trump has been very petty about going after people on his list. Let's see what else we have here. Trump celebrates destroying an anti-money laundering law. Allows you to have accounts that don't have your name on it when you have these dark, not dark money, but what do you call those, like offshore accounts and stuff like that. There was a transparency act, corporate transparency act, that was passed in 2021, not that old. It requires some businesses to report information on people who own or control a company, indirectly or directly, to the department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Network.
Right. We need to know this. Y'all can't just be shuffling money everywhere.
So Trump used, I guess, his executive order or something to say, the Treasury Department, to announce that they will not enforce any penalties or fines associated with beneficial ownership information reporting rule under the existing regulatory deadlines, but it will further not enforce any penalties or fines against U.S. citizens or domestic reporting companies or their beneficial owners after the forthcoming rule takes effect. Basically, hide the money. And it will make sense that this president would be the one to be like, if you getting money somewhere from some shady source and you're trying to obfuscate that shit, I'm the man who never showed y'all my taxes, and I'm also the man y'all let be back in charge, and me and the homies finna run through this treasury real quick on y'all ass.
Billions of dollars gonna be gone.
Yeah. And so I think that's what happened with that. Judge put a stop to a 200-year-old wartime act invoked by Trump to combat various Venezuelan why is in this article, Venezuelan gang trend de Aragua. So Donald Trump basically said, I'm going to use the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to crack down on people that I deem to just be people who are here that ain't from here, and I don't want them to be here whether they're here legally or not.
Right, because they don't give a fuck.
They're already detaining and trying to deport people that are pro-Palestinian or they are protesters or whatnot on these college campuses.
Shipping them all across the country.
Yeah. And whether they have legal status or not, green card or not, they don't give a fuck. And part of this is what I think is what Trump has been doing from day one since returning to the White House. He's just challenging legal precedent and trying to get as many things going at the same time, and hopefully end up in court, and hopefully go to Supreme Court, and hopefully Supreme Court will look past any law, any precedent, and say we are siding with whatever Donald Trump wants because we're conservative and we actually never gave a fuck about the law or the rules. I don't know if it'll work for all of them, but
some of them gonna pass.
They're doing a volume shooting.
Mm-hmm. And some will go in. It ain't gonna be 100%, but shit, if you can get 50%, 40%, 30%, you're doing good.
Yeah, as long as they getting some of their agenda passed. And so it'll, a judge has put this on hold for now or blocked it, but it's temporary.
Right.
Meaning it can go back into effect later, or another judge can reverse it, or it can escalate up to the Supreme Court. So this fight is not over, but this is the kind of authority that they want. They want to be able to just do shit that just to see if they can do it and see who will fight. They dropped a civil suit against migrant housing that is accused of child abuse. So the Trump administration moved to dismiss a civil lawsuit against Southwest Key Programs, the largest provider of housing for migrant children, after federal officials announced they had removed all unaccompanied minors from its facilities. The lawsuit filed during the Biden administration detailed accusations of sexual abuse that happened from 2015 to 2023. Woo! So you had people that were probably going to go to jail, or there was going to be a fine or some type of regulation or shutdown. And of course, the Biden administration was on the side of, hey, just because somebody is a migrant, you can't be sexually abusing people. We take this very seriously.
Right, they're not slaves.
Right. And Trump said, yes, they are slaves. We took the kids. The kids are already been removed, which obviously the kids would have been removed during the Biden administration. Like, we're not going to let you keep the kids there. So the kids have been removed, and which the Trump administration is using as like, hey, kids removed. What's the problem? Everybody go back to doing what they do.
No, you can't get a whole nother group of kids to abuse them all over again.
Right. It's wild.
Shut that shit down.
Out of continuing concerns relating to these placements, HHS has decided to stop placement of unaccompanied alien children in Southwest Key facilities. Alien, I see that. And will review its grants with the organization. As a result, the Justice Department dismissed its lawsuits. The company is facing a funding freeze. It furloughed 5,000 employees, explaining that this was due to the stop placement order. And so this two birds with one stone. They're also doing that thing where they get to cancel more jobs and fuck up another government agency that does have a purpose.
It does have,
and be like,
they serve a purpose.
Yeah. So it's like, we're shutting this all down. And it's not because we care about the kids. We're shutting it down because fuck these kids. They're alien kids. They're not from here. Which reminds me, I doubt we'll see these people popping up on our YouTube and apologizing, probably because I hid them from the channel. But there was a clip that went out where we talked about Waka Flocka and his support of Trump, even with Trump, talking all this stuff about immigration and deportation. And I said in the clip, like, hey, this dude is not going to do this legally. He's going to target American citizens, blah, blah, blah. And I guess it went a little bit viral on the right wing part of YouTube, which is probably most of YouTube. And we got a lot of comments like, if he show me a person he's deported that's here legally, or show me, like, who cares or whatever, this is what's wrong, y'all worry about this and not. Well, now people with green cards are being locked up.
Being separated from their family, married to American citizens.
People are being targeted for deportation without evidence that they did anything illegal.
And they want to do quick so they can just get them the fuck out of here. And so, because once they leave, they ain't coming back.
So it is happening. Where are y'all?
They don't care.
You know what I mean? Like, y'all was supposed to be like, well, look, he not doing it to nobody that's not supposed to. Well, he is, though. Now they are doing it to people who haven't done anything illegal or wrong. So where are y'all at? Right. Cause y'all are bigots too. That's what it is. Y'all agree with the shit. You can't hide behind the law to me, man. You agree with the inhumane cruelty that they do to these folks, man.
Right.
It's fucked up.
Yes, it is.
All right. Let's see. What was I gonna do? Oh, U.S. Department of Labor cuts childcare for its workers. So they used to help take care of your children. Like, here's some daycare or something for it. But now they have cut the child care for those employees, those federal employees.
Gonna force a lot of people out of the working populace. That's the whole purpose, particularly women. Like that's the whole purpose, to actually just decrease it, because a lot of times, not trying to be funny, because of sexism, most men aren't gonna stay home and raise the kids.
Elon Musk is like, I don't take care of my kids. Why should y'all?
Right.
I got the money to take care of them, and I just don't. I'm basically.
I just don't.
Yeah, I'm basically Future with a tech spin on it, you know. But yeah, if such cuts can be implemented for federal employees, it raises questions about the impact of removing child care services for average Americans, which is interesting because federal employees are average Americans. But yeah,
they are.
Imagine anybody taking away the child care that you've been utilizing.
And child care is expensive as shit.
Yeah. In 2021, 11.5 million children were eligible for child care subsidies under federal and state rules. Without government subsidized child care, millions of working families will face increasing economic inequality, struggling to access quality care while wealthier families still will be able to afford private care. The other part of this that I think is so fucking interesting. If they take away this child care stipend and subsidies and all this stuff, these are the same people that are like, you can't get an abortion.
Right.
White people aren't having enough kids.
Right.
We need more white children, but also nothing to take care of them and no Department of Education.
And you can have a bunch, and not trying to be funny, of not smart, illiterate children that you can easily manipulate and control, because they're not going to be educated. A lot of them not going to be able to read. They're not going to be able to write. Particularly, they get rid of education unless you are, and not trying to be funny, you are a parent that's already educated to actually like, no, I'm not going to have a stupid kid, so I'm going to teach my child how to read and write and all that stuff. But if you're in a household where y'all are barely making it anyway, and now all of us, and this is also, in my personal opinion, why they want to change all the child labor laws and shit like this, where all of a sudden all these struggling families, instead of going to school, which used to be a requirement, if you start dropping that shit, kids are going to be going out there. You're going to see a lot of injuries from children and shit go through the roof. You know, when we used to read these stories about, you know, kids in the back of the McDonald's working 40 hours, that it ain't gonna matter no more, because they're gonna be like, well, just get out here and fucking work, child.
Open your third eye. Open your third eye. Open your third eye. Open your third eye.
And I'm an advocate believer of that particular thing, because I got family members that are still alive that were around when they started passing these laws, and they was like, thank God, because now I don't have to take my summers off and spend out here fucking working in the hard ass sun picking cotton with my daddy. I have to go to school now, you know, because particularly if you like and lived in certain areas, and back then people had big kids, because you know you lived off, particularly black people, you lived off your land. And so, you know, when my grandpa and all these kids and things like that, I remember one of my aunts, she was telling me, she was like, I was so glad, and she was like, I will go back to school, Karen. She's like, I didn't know what the fuck was happening because I missed the whole fucking semester because I was fucking picking cotton. Those are the things that are going to happen. Like it is not gonna be funny, and it's not gonna be pretty. It's all a motherfucking game and memes and ha 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 whatever. But it's not gonna be funny when a whole fucking generation is lost because they're passing these fucked up ass laws.
Well, I think that counts. I think that's the end, guys. I think that was politics till we got mad. I don't know about y'all, but Karen sound kind of upset to me. I was a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, so I guess we move on to the next segment. Let's see. What kind of news do I want to do now? Why can't I find the LGBTQ news intro? Oh, nope, that's the wrong one. Here we go.
Let me see what you want to be. You better move your body. You better move your feet. And I want to groove. Show me what's cool. Riding, caring, baby. LGBTQ news. They're trying to take us down, but we still around. We lit. They're trying to steal a shine, but we on the ride. We lit. But you can't do what we're about to do. We lit. Black guys, tips. LGBTQ news.
LGBTQ news. We're gonna keep talking.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably not good news, especially now. But Hunter Schafer says passport now lists her gender as male under Trump order. Model and actress Hunter Schafer, one of the most prominent transgender women in Hollywood, said Friday that her newly issued passport lists her gender as male despite selecting female while filling out paperwork. Schafer, best known for her role in HBO drama Euphoria, said in an 8-minute video that her driver's license and passport were first changed when she was a teenager, but she never updated her birth certificate. After losing her passport recently, she went through the process of replacing it, but when she received her new passport this week, the gender marker was incorrect. I'm sure most of us remember on, I think, the first day of Trump's presidency, he signed an executive order to declare only 2 genders recognized by the state, male and female, assigned at birth. As a result of this, which I wrote down because I want to get it right, the Bureau of Consular Affairs has frozen passport applications requesting a gender marker change or renewals or new applications with the gender marker differing from an applicant's gender assigned at birth. So it has real consequences, and I just want people to think in real life, when you see this woman, she is going to appear to you to be a woman. And when you are looking at paperwork and you see it says male, in addition to just being humiliating, it is also inefficient and not expedient and confusing. It's just, it does no one any good. What would this matter when I'm trying to get a flight out of the country or whatever, that they look at this and go, oh, well, it says M here. Like, okay, and now what are we gonna do?
What we gonna do?
Am I not catching the flight? No. So this changes nothing other than it's supposed to make me afraid to exist. It's supposed to make me afraid to come out the house, and God forbid I have to show my passport and get clocked or get looked at funny or some snide remark or just some bigot chooses that day to make my day fucked up because they can do that.
Right, because they can do it.
In whatever places that I need to have to show my license or my, my passport. There's not that many places that you need to pull that out, but they're all important places.
Yes,
None of us is pulling it out as a flex because we want to. You're at the DMV. You're at the,
the airport.
Yeah, you feel it. You're doing something important, and then this has to become part of it. It's fucked up. A McDonald's fired a trans worker who reported harassment, and she won $900,000.
Good.
Yep. I gotta pay for the Washington Post to read this. Well, I think we summed it up. That was good news. There we go. There we go. Good news. Let's see. The father of a trans son explains why he voted for Donald Trump but believes in trans rights.
That don't make sense.
He was on CNN. He was on CNN. His name is Rick Colby. He said, I agree with just about everything Trump is doing except for transgender people. It doesn't matter what your political affiliation is. My main concern is how to keep your child alive and help them be happy and thrive and be the productive members of society. Ashton Colby is facing the prospect of losing routine gender affirming care at the hands of the second Trump administration. Ashton is 32. He said his dad is very supportive following his top surgery. He was there in the hotel room while helping me recover and drink protein shakes when I couldn't use my arms. He's made literally a life or death difference in my life. Ashton takes testosterone as a weekly injection in an ongoing treatment plan to manage gender dysphoria that he said I now luckily don't have. While Trump has so far limited his attacks on gender affirming care to trans minors, Ashton says he fears the federal bans will expand to adults like him.
Of course. That's the whole point. You always use the kids as a starter to see what you can get away with. And if you allow it for the kids, they're going to come for the adults.
Yeah, agreed. The thing for me is the father. I don't have kids, so maybe this is something you understand when you have kids, but this sounds very selfish to me. It sounds like I'm okay with what he says about immigrants. I'm okay what he says about black people. I'm okay what he says about women. I'm okay what he says about, all this other shit that's just so fucked up. You agree with Trump on everything. But because my kid is trans,
my child,
like that's some Dick Cheney allyship. That's like Listen, if my kid gonna be gay, well then no, of course, then
Right. Now,
I'm against those
I'm
rules.
forced to care.
Right. Like what? You need to have a black kid to understand the racism part of it. You need to have a kid that was born in Mexico for you to be like, oh shit, that's fucked up too. It still feels very myopic. Like you're just, as it affects you is all that matters. So I don't get this, and I know we're gonna get stories like this though for however long this like Trump supporter does this, but these stories,
they do nothing.
I don't
for me,
need
y'all.
them. Somebody might need them.
That's the thing. I'm not the target of their audience.
Whoever is the person that needs this, maybe it'll wake someone up. I doubt it, but I don't need the stories. And if anything, they just kind of like annoy me.
Yes,
you
they
know,
make
I
me
saw
mad.
a guy who was mad that his wife was now being detained by immigration, and he's like, I'm a Trump supporter and I didn't think he'd go after my wife. I'm like, well, she's not from here, and he said he going after people that's not from here.
Right.
Why would he make an exception for you? He don't know you, nigga. He not gonna go to your house and be like, did you vote for me?
Know you.
He just know your wife brown. That's it.
That's it.
That's as impersonal as it is for him. They don't want brown people here, and you part of the problem to them.
Yes, you are. They don't care about your family being split and shit.
Yeah. Ugh. Hate that shit.
Like I said, I'm not the targeted audience. A lot of times I just go on past that and shit like this. It's like one of those things where this, like you said, this song ain't for me. This book ain't for me. This article ain't for me. You know, this story, like it's not for me. So I'll just keep going because I don't want to get mad, and I'll jokes out like I don't want to grow. I don't want my heart to get cold and me get a bitterness and just not fucking care at all. So I'll just bypass it because it just makes me, it enrages me, it makes me angry. So I'm like, I'm good, dog. I hope these stories go and do their jobs and touch somebody's heart and makes them change their minds. But I don't need to see this.
Yeah, well, every time I see the headlines like this,
Ready for my salad?
every time, I'm just like, nah. It's shocking to me every time, but not in the I'm shocked, but in the what the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
Right.
You know, fat meat ain't greasy.
I do self-protection, and my self-protection is just being away from those things.
A military-themed brewery in Norfolk, Virginia is closing its doors and blaming a local woke mob for not being able to turn a profit. The name of the company is Armed Forces Brewing. CEO Alan Bill put out a statement saying the ability to profitably operate in Norfolk was severely affected by the local woke mob. A few individuals in the area who have no love for the traditional American values we hold as a company. According to WHRO, Norfolk locals objected to Armed Forces Brewing when it relocated to the city from Annapolis, Maryland, on the promise of a $300,000 tax break from Governor Glenn Youngkin, who was a Republican.
Problem with them coming in there in the first place.
The citizens did.
Right.
That's the woke mob he's talking about. More than 800 Norfolk citizens submitted comments opposing the bar's planning and zoning permits in November 2023, citing the company's misogynistic and anti-LGBTQ plus promotional material and its controversial spokesman and part owner, Robert O'Neill. O'Neill is a former Navy SEAL and frequent guest on conservative media. He claims to have personally killed Osama bin Laden. In the 2023 Fox Business interview, he blasted the Navy for teaming with drag performer Harpy Daniels as a recruitment ambassador. He also reportedly suggested that LGBTQ plus people are pedophiles and has since deleted social media posts. In 2020, he was banned from flying with Delta after refusing to wear a mask amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, you can't go somewhere and the people don't want you there and then be like, spend your dollars. Bitch, no!
Right.
Why would we told you we didn't want you here. Why would we spend our money here? That doesn't make sense. You don't want me here. Why would I spend my money here? I don't have to go here. There's too many other places for me to choose.
I like that.
Then you act like you the victim.
I like that it's the woke mob and not just I'm a jerk.
I'm an ass.
People don't like me. No, and this is the entitlement of so many of these conservatives. It's the entitlement. It's the I get to say what I say. You have to support me. It's every conservative comedian that I'm saying things that don't make people laugh, that people don't like and don't like me, but it's my freedom of speech. You can't not like what I say. You can't complain about it. You can't not attend my show. You can't say I don't want him to perform here. That's my freedom of speech. And it's like, that's not what freedom of speech means. But also, No one in entertainment gets to violate the principle of entertainment, which is entertainment for money.
Yes, and that's that because that's the part of
If
the
you're
contract.
not entertaining me, you don't get the money. When it comes to a bar or something like this, part of what makes it work in a community is that people like the bar owner or the bar people that work there, or just the reputation, and they want to go there.
Right.
No one owes you patronage. But you think people do, which is why you end up saying shit like the woke mob, rather than maybe I should stop going on Fox News saying bigoted things if I want people to like my bar. People that don't agree with me aren't going to want to drink my beer. And I know you know how it works, motherfucker, because I guarantee you people like you do not frequent gay bars. You don't want to go to the black bar.
Right.
So you know you don't have, nobody's money in the community is owed to any business, and you know that because you would never go in those places because you don't agree, quote unquote, with their lifestyles. Well, people don't agree with your lifestyle of being a dickhead, so maybe they don't want to support your business, and they didn't need to create a woke mob as much as it's just like, I don't want to go to that guy's place, he's an asshole.
Yep. And also, it's one of those things too, to where why don't you go where the racist people are? Then there's plenty, you know, but you didn't want to do
Right.
that.
You wanted that $300,000 tax cut.
Yes, so you came and the people was like, bitch, we don't want you here. You didn't want to pay more to be out there with your people that would have supported your bar, and you wouldn't have had to close, but you wouldn't have got that cut.
Director Paul Feig donates $300,000 to LGBTQ plus groups to fight Trump's bigotry. Paul Feig, who directed Bridesmaids and the 2016 Ghostbusters reboot, and his wife have donated $300,000 to 3 LGBTQ plus youth advocacy organizations, the Trevor Project, translifeline.org, and It Gets Better, in response to the numerous anti-LGBTQ plus actions of Donald Trump. In recent weeks, we have witnessed the dismantling of crucial protections for the health and safety of the LGBTQ plus community, and particularly the transgender community. I can't sit idly by and watch as my friends and colleagues in the LGBTQ plus community as a whole, our fellow citizens, are stripped of their rights. We should all do whatever is within our powers and our means to ensure that every member of the LGBTQ gets the support and protection to which they are entitled. I hope that these contributions will help the teams at the Trevor Project, translifeline.org, and It Gets Better to keep doing the life-saving work they do every day. So there you go. Let's just leave on that one because
Yes,
that's as good as
please.
it's gonna get. But yeah, shout out to Paul Feig.
And also about that other article, and somebody brought it up. People really don't understand what freedom of speech means,
Right.
and they don't they don't understand their First Amendment rights. And it, you know, when you say that, it's like the government can't come and shut you down, but it didn't say that other citizens couldn't
Nobody gotta
object.
like you, and no one has to spend their money for you.
Right.
My money is part of my free speech, and I'm not giving it to no bigot. Fuck you. I don't want to be at your fucking bar.
Right. When you spitting my food and shit, you don't want me here. Why would I come?
All right. Jonathan Majors admits to strangling ex-girlfriend in newly unearthed audio. It's by Rolling Stone.
So this is new.
It's so interesting because he was on a press tour recently. He did a interview for a magazine. I forget what it was. I think it might have been the Hollywood Reporter. And I was looking at it, and I saw, you know, of course, Michael B. Jordan has gone on the record a couple times saying he wants to work with him again, and he's a good person and all this shit. And so I've been seeing like, okay, I guess he's coming back. Maybe he's going to be the guy that somehow staves off personal shortcomings and shit like that as a black man, which almost never really seems to happen in Hollywood-ish area. Like, this kind of fuck up is typically the end of a black man's career. I'm not really I personally am not one of these people that argues like, but he should be able to get away with it because white people do get away with it. But we've seen, of course, Brad Pitt's fucking talking at the Super Bowl. Tom Cruise accused all kinds of shit. He's a living movie star, and it just doesn't come up anytime. But I thought, okay, I guess Jonathan Majors is on some type of press run, comeback tour. He talked about recently he revealed that he was sexually abused when he was a child by men and women, according to him, in this interview.
Okay.
And so when I saw that, I was like, I mean, obviously abuse doesn't excuse abuse of someone else, but we do know that it's cyclical, and if these things are true, whatever. But I was looking at it, to be honest, very cynically, as just like a press, like, okay, he's doing this type of press so that he has a reason, and once you have a reason, most people will let it be an excuse, and you can go about your life. Like, it might never be the same trajectory you were on, but you'll be able to work again. Right. And I think part of the reason he's doing this is because his movie Magazine Dreams is coming to theater soon.
Okay. And
before his controversy, that was a movie where he was seen as like possible Oscar nomination type film. And then it got shelved and pushed back a couple years, and now they're quietly releasing it in like a month or two, right? Okay. All that to be said, he poked his head out the sand. He put this like stuff out. I don't know why we're just now hearing this tape. It sounds like it's old.
Oh, okay.
So it's not new.
Okay, so it's
not him and Megan Good.
Okay.
It's the woman, Grace Jabari, that he was found guilty of injuring. The unearthed audio tape captures Jabari confronting Majors about the alleged attack in the following days. I'm ashamed I've never been aggressive with a woman before. I've never aggressed a woman. I aggressed you. You strangled me and you pushed me against the car, she interjects. Yes, all those things are under aggress. Yeah, that's never happened to me. She says, because I said something sarcastically in your eyes. He said, well, clearly it's more than that. She said, something inside of you. He said, yeah, towards you. He agreed before the recording ended. Both an attorney and agent for him did not immediately respond to da-da-da. Some details of the dispute previously emerged during his criminal trial in 2023, where he was found guilty of reckless assault in the third degree and harassment following a different fight that took place in New York. He was arrested in March 2023 for allegedly attacking Jabari, who sustained a fractured finger and a cut to the back of her ear. Throughout the trial, he claimed that she was the aggressor in that incident. He was acquitted of the two more serious charges, intentional assault and aggravated harassment. But because the judge barred any previous instances of alleged physical abuse from the trial, only the aftermath of the September 2022 fight, Majors pleading with Jabari to not go to the hospital and threatening to kill himself were mentioned in court.
So that's why we didn't get any of this.
Right. Okay. And so my guess is like, maybe she saw him, or a lawyer, someone who had access to this evidence, saw him making this comeback or trying to spin a story that made him a bit more sympathetic. You see Michael B. Jordan saying what he's saying. You see him get the cover of Hollywood Reporter. It's looking like, oh, maybe his career is going to come back.
Right.
And then someone saying, no, the fuck it's not. Because it's not necessary. It's not new information.
Okay.
Now I will say though, part of the reason I feel like this information is going to feel like new information and have some of the same effects as new information is partially because of the defenders of Jonathan Majors. Yeah. And the reason I'm saying
they roll hard
is because the ones who have chosen to defend him always act like they did not see or hear the verdict in that trial.
Right.
They act like he's an innocent man who did nothing ever, and then just got hemmed up in the court system by some random white lady who decided to sue him.
Yeah. Listen to them. That's how it sounds. You go, this ain't what happened, y'all.
I think if they, because I think they feel desperate to have a black man return to prominence in some form, and they feel obviously the double standard that white men get. They're very upset by that. I understand that, but I think in their zeal to like right that wrong, quote unquote, it turned into he never did nothing to nobody.
Right. And
He innocent.
And that makes people angry.
All the time when I post anything about him on Facebook, and I'm not posting a lot of stuff about him, and for the record, I'm not leaving comments. I'm just posting like a link to an article or something.
Right.
I see so many, almost every single time, at least one person is in the comments like, well, he didn't even do nothing. And I'm like, man, that I know that one, he was found guilty of something.
Mm-hmm.
But two, like, I think the more you keep saying that, instead of it becoming a thing that becomes true, it's just going to make the people that do want him to not work or whatever, they're going to just keep putting it in your face like, but he did do something. Mm-hmm. It's like saying Chris Brown didn't do something.
Right.
It's like, well, then now everyone's going to just keep showing the face of Rihanna beat to a pulp over and over just to win the argument at this point. Like, it's just to be like, you can't change what happened.
Right. You can't.
This did happen.
Yes, it did.
So yeah, man, I assume this was, that's my assumption. I don't know anything anybody else doesn't know, but the timing of it feels like, no, you don't get to come back.
Yep. No, you don't get to come back.
Yeah. And yeah, you know, we covered it on the show when it happened. We went into details. We read transcripts about like the accusations and the fights they had, and him telling her not to go to the hospital and stuff. I don't feel like this is one of these grave injustices where it's like, man, this brother got, you know, Emmett Till or whatever, the way people try to carry it.
And I know
that's at the same time that I can admit, yes, there is a double standard. Yes, Brad Pitt or somebody would be right back in the spotlight like nothing fucking happened, and that's not right either. And I don't have any of the answers or solutions to make that right. I don't think that makes me have to be in this guy's corner necessarily, as much as I can just sit back and be like, it is what it is. If he gets his stuff back, I'm not gonna say shit if he's in another movie sometime. Right. At the same time, if he's never in another movie, I'm not gonna cry over it either way. And I understand some people can't relate to that.
For me, and maybe this is just me, I feel so bad for Emmett Till's family, because niggas throw him up like the fucking Pokemon card. Anytime anything happens to a black man, justified or unjustified, righteousness or not righteous, they always throw him up. Sometimes there is a situation where y'all use him and you can go, okay, but not trying to be funny. Sometimes these niggas just need to go to jail and be accountable for their actions. And y'all throw that name out like it's supposed to mean something and move people. And you like, hey, this does not apply here. Just because they're black doesn't mean this. No, sometimes they contributed to the situation. Sometimes they ain't always walking around innocent and just get hemmed up. And I think for me that's very frustrating, because when they do that, it almost takes the strength and the power out of the name, because you're just consistently throwing it out there when that name means something. So for me, it's irritating when people just, particularly black people, because they just want to uphold blackness to like a black supremacy, and you're like, no, I don't like white supremacy, and there's something wrong with black supremacy, y'all. Like you black people don't look at it like that, but to me, I look at that shit the same. It's like, no, we can't imitate white people and want to be like white people. Like, that's not the purpose and the point for me. So it's, for me, that's irritating, because like I said, it takes the strength and it strips the strength and the power out of that name, because that name means something.
Yeah. Like I said, I get people's point about it being a double standard. It's just not enough for me to ignore. Like, if you're an abusive dude, I'm not just going, well, fuck it. You know, like, nah, it seemed like you did something and you were found guilty, and it's not right that other people get to get away with that. But like, that's like, yeah, it's just not right. And I get it. I don't want to fight about it. I don't want to argue about it. It's not, my opinion won't change a single thing about it. But I don't feel like I have to be on his side, or I'm letting black people down.
Right.
And I know people try to spin it that way, and it's okay for, I guess, if they want to feel that way. I don't share it.
I don't share it. And also the thing is, I am comfortable in my blackness to understand that I don't agree with all black people all of the time. You
Right.
quote unquote, you can't take my black card. You can't take me out of blackness. They're going to look at me and you and call us both niggas. So it don't matter. We're in the same group.
I wouldn't even say it's most black people. Like, I don't feel like this is making me out of step with blackness. It's just some black people are on this, some people ain't.
Right.
You know, I know people struggle with it because people still do believe in, whether they fight against it or not, a lot of people still believe in a lot of respectability. A lot of people still believe in a lot of, like, you know, representation matters type stuff. And he meant something to them or means something to them that, to me, and this is just my thing about almost all of these entertainers, it just never crosses, it very rarely crosses over into a place where I'm like, I can be disappointed or super proud of somebody that is just like, they're good at acting, meaning that if they're not my family member and I don't feel like I got to defend them to the tooth and nail, if they do
Right.
something foul, and maybe it's because of my attitude that I'm not like, it's not like I would never watch another Jonathan Majors movie because of this.
All right.
So it's just more like I mean, that's unfortunate that happened, but that did happen and you did that, and you know the environment that this is before you put your hands on somebody. So whether, you know, yeah. And everybody is cooking off of him saying aggressed because they like, he would say aggressed.
Aggressed. That's
Everybody was saying
hilarious.
I want to toot my own horn a little bit, so you know I got to play my music.
You think we're gonna have another photo of him stopping people fighting?
He gonna have to stop. He gonna have to stop like a whole squad of people. He gonna have to stop like the Bloods and the Crips from fighting. At this point, I don't know what can get ahead of this media cycle. And if she got more shit, every time he pop up, some more shit pop off, he'll never get to come back, man. I don't know. Megan Good gonna have to come see that girl or something. All right, let's get to me making myself look good.
Okay.
Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Rob is right. Rob is right. Yep, Rob is right. Yeah, Rob is right. Whoop, what was that again? Oh yeah, Rob was right. Rob was right.
Apparently, Drake is a fan of Andrew Tate, according to Adin Ross.
You got beat up.
Oh,
He
shit.
He was kind of
Ah,
shocked.
you're gonna love this. Drake is in the chat.
Drake is in the chat.
He said, "What is the fight of the night?" Chat. By the way,
Yo, there's so many.
my boy Drake, man, he fucks with you, Andrew.
Yeah? I've yet to meet Drake. I look forward to
I'll make that happen. He's
Hey,
a really good dude.
Drake's in the
Drop
chat.
and give me 50.
Kanye's on text. Kanye's like answer. I'm like, yo, I'm with.
That's academics all the way on the right. Andrew Tate just recently back in the United States, heavy with the UFC MMA type environment.
Yeah, didn't he get in trouble for
Adin
something?
Ross is a stream, huh? Yeah, he got in trouble.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, we talked about it on the show a few times. He recently got back to the United States after all that shit overseas, being accused of sex trafficking and sexual assault and all this stuff. But even when he's just doing his podcast or whatever, he's very anti-woman, misogynistic, all kinds of stuff. So, not a good guy. Very incel, you know.
I'm with Top G and I'm with Aiden. We're commenting. I can't call you right now. He wants me to call him.
All right, you with the
man.
champ
too,
Teofimo. Thank you.
Of course.
Two-time lead your
And
world
Teo,
champion.
say
what's up to Drake as well.
But Kanye loves you.
So my point is, what I was right about, I said a minute ago during all that Drake Kendrick beef, I said Drake is going to or will need to pivot to the incel right wing MAGA type culture.
Because they're the only people that's going to say, come on over here, brother.
Yeah, I said he's gonna need to, because that there's no room left for him in blackness. So he can go over there with that show, the shit show, and be like, hey, they accuse me of being a pedophile too. It's like, as you're talking to a dude that was legally in another country being detained because they thought he was sex trafficking and underage girls and all this shit. So, but do you go over there, they can't judge you. You know, that woman hating shit that you do, like, yeah, they with it. Even if it is all true, they will still defend you. Academics just happy to be in the room and have Drake and say Drake texted him something so that he can say they friends.
Right.
Because Drake typically doesn't acknowledge him in public. So yeah, it's very. I am not surprised by this pivot. I'm not surprised that he's been signaling this. He signaled that he was down with Adam Ross and was on his stream. So this culture of young men who hate women is pretty much a Venn diagram that is a complete circle with his fan base who's left.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And they've done articles to talk about a lot of the anger that a lot of young men, like, it is a real thing that actually needs to be addressed. Like, it's a deep-seated, rooted issue, you know, that in our country, and, you know, it starts with, like, the message board and all that type of stuff, you know, depending on, you know, your generation. Yes, misogyny, I understand that, but it's getting to the point where you like, goddamn, like, y'all, this is something that when people study this, they're gonna be like, oh, y'all a whole generation.
It's been to that point, and they are studying it, and the results are in. Like, the men are cooked. You know,
it's not looking good, y'all.
It's not a bug; it's a feature. Like,
it's a feature.
The
Yes,
men hating women. That has led to a lot of them voting for Donald Trump.
Yes,
it's led to a lot of them being fans of people like Andrew Tate,
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, all this stuff. You know, like a lot of that stuff is in the zeitgeist, and these guys have totally given into it. This incel culture is. They've been, a lot of these mass shootings, all that type of shit.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Drake, UMG fires back at Drake's lawsuit over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us. Called it an attempt to save face.
Yeah, they tired of him.
And the motion, first of all, I read some of this motion. This shit was sassy.
What did they have to say?
This
they fed up with him?
This felt like remember when Jay-Z wrote, he clearly wrote his own statement about Tony Busby.
And didn't come through a PR person.
And shout out to Jay-Z, because that motherfucker is still pursuing Tony Busby, because not only has that shit been thrown out, not only has the girl recanted that her testimony or her accusation, she is also on tape saying that Tony Busby told her to say it was Jay-Z, even though she didn't say it was. So like, he is fighting. He is being as petty as that dude was for targeting him. And I don't blame him. But that being said, when he wrote that statement, we read the statement on the show. I was like, Jay-Z wrote that statement. Not his lawyer, not his legal team, not his PR. He wrote that shit.
He grabbed the notes app and was like, I got something to say.
So I don't know if UMG hired Jay-Z to write their statement or what. But some of the excerpts.
Ooh, you finna try. That's what.
Right.
Ooh, bitch, it ain't me. Caps. Shout out to the people that remember that one.
Oh, yeah.
Who you finna try? I bet it ain't me. Ooh, bitch, it ain't me. Caps. Who you finna?
Plaintiff, one of the most successful recording artists of all time, lost a rap battle that he provoked and in which he willingly participated.
Yes.
Instead of accepting the loss like the unbothered rap artist he often claims to be, he has sued his own record label in a misguided attempt to salve his wounds. In the filing, UMG pointedly noted that Drake himself had leveled his own hyperbolic insults and vitriolic allegations during the same exchange of stinging rap tracks, including accusing Lamar of domestic violence and questioning whether the rival had really fathered his son. Drake has been pleased to use UMG's platform to promote tracks leveling similar incendiary attacks at Lamar. But now, after losing the rap battle, Drake claims that Not Like Us is defamatory. It is not. In a statement to Billboard on Monday, Drake's attorney said UMG wants to pretend that this is about a rap battle in order to distract its shareholders, artists, and the public from a simple truth. A greedy company is finally being held responsible for profiting from the dangerous misinformation that has already resulted in multiple acts of violence. This motion is a desperate ploy by UMG to avoid accountability, but we have every confidence that this case will proceed to continue to uncover UMG's long history of endangering, abusing, and taking advantage of artists. What I like is that multiple acts of violence, it's like by your client. You talking about Rick Ross getting beat up? That wasn't Kendrick and them. But yeah, of course his lawyers have to say that. They're his lawyers. But yeah, I love UMG was like, nah, fuck that. And they pointed out what I said, which is your problem isn't what Kendrick did, it's that you lost.
Yes.
Oh, they let him cover disinformation about me. You were saying disinformation. Your shit just didn't stick.
Right, sir.
Like you attempted to shoot him, but you mad because you got shot. Like, make that make sense. So yeah, anyway, Drake, we'll see where it goes after this.
We will see where it goes.
Dr. Umar slams second baby mama for keeping child from him despite child support payments. Man got a lot of baby mamas.
Yeah, he does.
Let's see. The activist went live to address the ongoing tension, claiming that the woman referred to as Miss Vegan is preventing him from seeing their child despite his child support payments and involvement in family court. Baby mama number 2, Miss Vegan. Baby mama number 2, Miss Vegan. You have 2 weeks to produce my child who you've been keeping from me while I've been paying child support. Just like baby mama number 1. It's deja vu, he ranted. This conflict with Miss Vegan comes, is that her name? Is that her stage name?
Yeah, what's happening here?
I don't know who Miss Vegan is.
Because if you are not paying child support, particularly if you go through the court, it's records.
Miss Vegan comes on the heels of a public feud between Dr. Umar and his daughter Anissa, who has been accusing him of being a deadbeat father. So the child support is going to one kid that he can't see and the other one not getting it. And she said he physically abused her mama. He put his fucking hands on her. What the fuck is wrong with him? He should have been in fucking jail. Like, really, he should be in jail, she said. Umar responded to these accusations by telling his followers to pick a side. Yeah, we covered that one. He also stated that he would only have a conversation with Anissa if her mother was there, who he refers to as Mama Smurf. What be happening? What be going on with Dr. Umar, man? Miss Vegan, Mama Smurf. Why they got aliases?
Yeah, he's just making up names and shit.
What's going on with these aliases, man? Returning to his dispute with Miss Vegan, he is threatening to expose her if she doesn't bring their daughter to him by March 29th. If I do not meet and see my child by Saturday, March 29th, Miss Vegan, I will be going live and I'm going to tell the whole world information you don't want them to know. And Miss Vegan, I don't want to put your business in the streets. As of now, Miss Vegan has not publicly responded.
And I wouldn't.
That's probably because, if I'm not mistaken, Miss Vegan, she don't want no beef.
She don't.
So she has not responded, but given the escalating nature of the drama, it's just a matter of time before she does. Speaking of non-monogamy, oh no, if that segue even really works. Anyway, Omarion has shared his views on monogamy. The R&B singer.
What?
Didn't
him and his wife get divorced?
April, yeah, she dating Tay Diggs.
That is right.
Yeah,
they are an adorable couple.
In a recent interview on Sherry, the 40-year-old singer spoke with host Sherry Shepherd about various topics. When Shepherd brought the topic of practicing ethical non-monogamy or having multiple romantic partners with everyone's awareness and consent, he replied, I would say for me being open is important, and also, you know, the women just truly outnumber the men. You know what I mean? They don't really outnumber the men like that.
It's about 50-50 actually.
Yeah,
you know, statistically.
Yeah. I love this conversation because I think when men are open and honest that they don't want to have just one thing for the rest of their life, it gives a woman an opportunity to choose and to further understand a man, because I think that women don't really understand a man. Certain women do, but there's a larger conversation that has to be had about understanding men and how, you know, we're meant to spread our seed, he concluded.
Because that's all about you doing it, right?
I will say this, man. The dudes that promote non-monogamy and in public.
They
Like the
don't.
loud ones, they not doing a good themselves any favor.
They don't represent y'all well, like you know. And
It always ends up being about biology and sex only.
Yes.
It's never about emotions, partnership, support,
respect,
family. Like as far as like growing your found family or something.
Nothing.
It's
And you might as well say these bitches.
It's always just like I need to put my dick in a lot of different women.
That's basically what you're saying.
And that's really all life is about for me as a man.
They better not go fuck nobody else.
That's my defining characteristic as a man. And I'm not. He didn't say the words they can't have sex with other people. He didn't say the women better not fuck anyone else. But he didn't even talk about the women's role in this other than being sperm receptacles for him.
Right.
Like other than that, like these women seem to have no agency or consideration in his conversation, and it just seems to keep happening again and again. When you see Neo just talking about I want to be able to fuck multiple women. He's never really seeming to talk about what it takes to be a partner and partnership and choice and all that type of stuff. It's really sad to see just how much these guys obsess over just that aspect of it. When if you talk to people that practice non-monogamy and all this stuff, that's only a part of it.
That's
like sex is just a part of it, but it's not the whole thing for everybody.
No, it's not. It doesn't run everything.
Yeah. Like then why wouldn't you just I'm gonna date people and not be committed to anybody?
Agree. You may as well do that.
Like what's the difference? If that's what you see as the value system of that life, it just seems weird. All right, we'll do one more segment. Let's do some guess the race, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Here we go.
What time is it?
It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race. It's time to guess the race.
Gunman arrested for karaoke rage.
Oh.
Upset that the karaoke machine at a Florida bar was not working, a man pointed a Glock pistol at another patron and fired off a round. According to police who arrested the suspect, a convicted felon barred from possessing a firearm, police alleged that Aaron Jablonski, 34, was at the Overtime Sports Bar around 2:30 a.m. Saturday.
There was some overtime. Overtime with that lad.
Yeah, overtime is 2:30 a.m. When the karaoke unavailability resulted in him exiting the bar, upset about the music. Outside the business, a 26-year-old man tried to get him to calm down. See, trying to help. Denied karaoke, Jablonski was not in a calming down mood. He allegedly pulled a handgun from his waistband and pointed at the victim saying, "I don't fucking care." Jablonski was seen by a waitress brandishing a firearm and firing off a round. The victim, whose Facebook page has several photos of him performing karaoke, told police he was in fear that Jablonski would kill him.
Right.
Yeah. I guess that guy be at the karaoke place all the time. So he's like, "Hey man, it'll be working tomorrow."
Right. Like, I hang here all the time. This is my spot.
When cops arrived, he still had his gun. Investigators say the gun was illegal because he previously was convicted of battery on a law enforcement officer. Damn. Jablonski was arrested on a pair of felony raps, aggravated assault, and a felon in possession of a firearm. He is locked up in the county jail in lieu of $40,000 bond. His rap sheet includes convictions for DUI, disorderly conduct, theft, resisting an officer with violence, violating probation, and 2 separate incidents of battery on a law enforcement officer. So he done did it twice.
Oof.
He got a restraining order. Stay away from the victim.
Take karaoke seriously, apparently.
Right. He's like, I got to sing. I'm a star. Court records did not reveal what his go-to karaoke song was.
Oh, I would have liked to know that.
Well, Karen, guess the race.
Oh, White. That last name sound like he ought to be playing hockey.
Jablonski?
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. This is drunk and high white man, most likely from Florida. Jablonski, Blanche, karaoke whiteout. Sweet Caroline White. That was a song. Failed American Idol contestant White singing Sweet Caroline as his go-to song. White beat up cops White twice and free. On the run from Ukraine. White shot through the heart and he is to blame. White.
That's
good.
hilarious.
The correct answer is White. That's so crazy to get, like, I want to kill somebody because I can't go into this bar and be like, just a small time girl.
Come on.
Living in a lonely world. Like, you gonna kill somebody?
Right, it is not that serious.
Like, what was your, we built this city. Like, you
that was his bot, wouldn't it?
somebody gotta die because you need to sing your song. Oh, all right, let's go to the next one. Suspect arrested. Oh no, I don't know if y'all can hear the sound. Y'all let me know if y'all can hear this sound. So could y'all hear that beat just now that came in for a second? Let Karen, you let me know.
Okay, I let them know. See how they, because they said yes.
Okay, all right. Then we can listen to this article and then I'll go back and show y'all the picture of the person. All right, here we go.
News alert, an 18-year-old is behind bars this evening accused of shooting someone inside a car near a fast food restaurant. Jaden James is charged with attempted first-degree murder, illegal use of a dangerous weapon, and armed robbery. Police say that shooting happened back on the night of January 19th at the Burger King on Perkins Road near Starring Lane. We brought that to you as breaking news when it happened. According to the victim, they were shot as they tried to escape that car with James and another unnamed man inside. Authorities say James has previously been arrested on attempted first-degree murder charges in Livingston Parish. He is now in the East Baton Rouge Parish Prison.
All right, Karen, guess the race of Jaden James.
Jaden James. I'm going to go white.
All right, let's check the chat room.
James.
Shooting in the car at a fast food restaurant. Man, let me tell you. That is it's not safe at these fast food restaurants.
Yeah, I'm listening to that first name, Jaden. Well, there are white Jadens. Oh, is there? Sorry, just thinking in my own head. Okay. And James is a black name too, so I'm gonna go black.
You going black? Okay. Black. This sounds black. Black. Jaden is black with a white mama. Ha! Black. Parish. Definitely black. Black. They call him JJ. Biracial, says Juan. The correct answer is black. Sorry. And Juan missed it with biracial. If it would have been Jalen, I would have agreed. I would have said biracial. But Jaden, that feels like that's still us for now.
Yes, not James.
All right, let's do one last one. Karen, you're 2 for 2, right?
Yay!
Yeah, okay. So Karen's 2 for 2.
What time is it? That bitch was white! I ain't racist. How can I be racist about anybody or anything in my life? How can I?
Call them niggas. Just call them niggas.
It's time to get
gold
the race.
teeth, gold chain wearing, fried chicken and biscuit eating, monkey ate baboon, big thigh, fast running, high jumping, spear chucking, 360-degree basketball.
A man wearing a t-shirt declaring "I never argue" was arrested yesterday after an argument with a female acquaintance.
Your shirt lied.
It turned violent. Maybe the shirt was ironic. Daniel Murillo, 44, is accused of repeatedly punching a 24-year-old victim in the head while they were seated in a BMW outside of Econo Lodge. The duo had traveled from Tampa but were left stranded when the car broke down. After a few days at the hotel, they ran out of money and began staying in their vehicle while attempting to fix it and arranged for a tow. When Murillo said he and the victim had been in a romantic relationship for several months, the woman told the cops that they did not have an intimate relationship. The inability to arrange a AAA tow, the victim told police, upset Daniel and added to the tension between them, which led to a verbal argument, which investigators charged progressed to him battering the woman. Cops noted that the victim had several bumps on her head, which appear swollen and recent.
Damn.
Murillo claimed that he struck the victim several times in retaliation for her punching him in the face. He added that after the woman threw urine at him from a cup they had inside the car, oh, they was down bad. He broke the vehicle's windows. None of this makes sense. That's the way y'all stay.
Right. Now I got to do with the drafted cold as hell.
Yeah, throwing pee in, like, oh man. Based on the totality of the circumstances, officers arrested him for misdemeanor battery. He was booked on $1,000 bond, which I guess isn't high, but he obviously ain't got it if he can't even get AAA.
Right.
And in advance of his court appearance, his "I Never Argue" shirt was replaced with a jail smock. Karen, guess the race of Mr. Daniel Murillo.
Daniel Murillo?
Mm-hmm. It could also be pronounced Murillo. I don't know. It's Murillo.
I'm gonna go white.
Karen's going white. Let's check the chat room, see what they believe Daniel Murillo's race is. Down bad, bit whites, pobre Latino. Clearwater on his back, Latino. PP white. This guy is pissing on you. You know it smells like piss. Latino, Hispanic, but hangs around niggas. White with lime. White and dirty.
Oh no.
Mario Trumptino. I guess that's white. Anyway, Karen, you said white. Latino says mine. You said white?
Mm-hmm.
Correct answer is Latino. Some people got it right. His eyes say he does always argue.
Yeah.
His eyes are like you just said something he want to argue about.
Right? Like if I could punch you right now, I would.
Right. What you mean LeBron James the greatest? You know, whatever. It's like, what? Anyway, what would make you buy that shirt?
I do not know.
Who was the market?
Knowing that you argue with people.
Yeah. Who was the market for that shirt? I feel like a person that argues a lot.
Because if you don't argue, you don't need to wear that shirt.
All right. Last thing, sword ratchetness.
Somebody said he has conversation in empty rooms. Yes, he does, all by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Punching air too.
Yep. And Karen just paying no attention, walking right up to him. Teenage boys are allegedly threatened with a Rambo sword during a knife point robbery at the South Essex station.
Oh damn, not a Rambo sword.
Taking to social media, one of the victim's parents reported he had been threatened with a pocket knife and a Rambo sword. It was reported his coat had been stolen during the incident. Now you cold. You ain't, and at least you didn't get stabbed. British Transport Police have confirmed their investigating reports and urged anyone with information to get in touch. A spokesperson said the British Transport Police received reports of a robbery on Rockford Railway Station around 12:30 p.m. on Saturday. Inquiries into this incident are ongoing. Anyone with information has to contact us, and they give the number and stuff. So, listen, our British listeners, get on top of this. We can't have people out here with Rambo knives robbing people at sword point. Okay, it's getting scary out here. All right, y'all, that's it. No show tomorrow, Hornets game. But we probably we'll do something Wednesday, whether it's Ballsy Sports or something. But all right, until next time, I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. Bye, everybody. Have a good